Dry Tortugas Fort Jefferson by Seaplane. The Seaplane takes off at Key West Airport and flies over to Dry Tortugas and lands in the water right outside of Fort Jefferson National Park. The distance is approximately 70 miles from Key West to Dry Tortugas. We brought snacks, a towel to sit on, and cameras to take pictures because we were not swimming around the fort. There was a seaplane tour orientation. Then we took a short walk from the office to the seaplane platform. I was asked if I would like to sit up front, and I excitedly said yes. Lynn was sitting behind the pilot and Sharon was sitting behind Lynn. We had some excellent views from the airplane. Takeoff from the airport was very gentle. To eliminate the noise of the airplane, I muted the audio. After takeoff, we turned to the right and headed down the coastline. I was on the right-hand side of the airplane. I got a great view of the Atlantic side of Key West. I paused the video so that I could point out a few areas of interest. These areas of interest were shown in the Key West video. Here is an aerial view of the most southern point of the continental USA here in Key West. Fort Zachary Taylor, seen below, was an interesting fort to visit. I shared a few moments of my tour of Fort Taylor in a previous video titled 2022 Key West, Florida on my channel, Adventures of Charlie and Lynn. From this altitude and the clarity of the water, it's easy to see a shipwreck. Another method of getting to Dry Tortugas National Park is by riding on the Yankee Freedom Catamaran. It seemed like it was only a short airplane ride before we were looking at dry Tortugas, Fort Jefferson, Bird Key, Loggerhead Key from the air. Off in the distance, you can see a lighthouse on Loggerhead Key. We have sailed in the past to that location and done some snorkeling around the island and on an old schooner that sank there many years ago. We sailed many times from Bogosiega Bay all the way to Key West, Dry Tortugas, and Loggerhead Key in our sailboat Talisman. We sailed into these waters from the year 1980 through the year 2004. Arriving here by seaplane is definitely a fun experience and our first time for Sharon, Lynn, and I. Watching a seaplane come in and land on the water just looks like fun when you're standing on shore. And the actual experience that we had was excellent. It is absolutely a must-do if you're able to while you're here in Key West, Florida, to fly out on a seaplane and enjoy Fort Jefferson. Walk the tour, enjoy the fort, and if you have time, stay all day and do some snorkeling around the fort. We chose the half-day tour, so we're going to get busy walking and touring the fort. Granddaddy, Grammy, and Aunt Dee Dee came over here to Dry Tortugas, the fort, and behind us. And we got here, come on everybody, we got here on this seaplane. Are you kidding me? There is a lot of information on the internet about how the island was discovered and the time frame, about the foundation and design of the fort, and the construction and armament of the fort. Granddaddy doing the fort. Visiting Fort Jefferson here in the Dry Tortugas brings back many fond memories. Sailing over here with my father, my brothers, my two sons, and my nephews. And we were joined here by those that came over by ferry, my nephews and niece. And we had a great time camping here at Fort Jefferson in the Dry Tortugas. You can read about the use of the fort before the Civil War and after the Civil War. The history of this location being a fort, a prison, and a fueling station. There's a lot to read on the internet if you're interested about Fort Jefferson National Park. What fort is this, Grammy? Fort Jefferson. And where are we at?
Tortugas.
How awesome. How did we get here again?
By Seaplane.
Wow.
Would I do that again? Absolutely.
Here I am at Fort Jefferson, November 23rd, 2022, with Lynn and Sharon. And we are now walking on the bottom floor prison cell. To my nieces, nephews, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, I have some questions for you. I would like for you to look up Dr. Mudd and find out what did he do to get thrown into prison here in Fort Jefferson. And what did Dr. Mudd do here while in Fort Jefferson that allowed him to be released from prison? According to the internet, Fort Jefferson took 30 years to build between the years 1846 and 1875. And according to the internet, it was never finished nor fully armed. According to the internet information, the yellow bricks were placed here before the Civil War, and they came from Pensacola, Florida. The red bricks came to the island during the war, and they were from Maine. In total, there were 16 million bricks. From the years 1990 through the year 2004, Lynn and I would make multiple trips from Gulfport, Florida, Mogasiega Bay, here to dry Tortugas. We would sail and snorkel this area anywhere from 4 to 7 days each time we came out here on our sailboat Talisman. Three miles away off of Loggerhead Key, the wreckage of the Avante, a three-masted ship built in 1875, lies in about 20 feet of water. My brothers and I snorkeled the wreckage back in the year 2001. In the years from 1980s to 2004, we snorkeled these old coal docks and continue snorkeling around the fort and along the moat. While snorkeling along the moat, we noticed that the barracudas would follow us. We were told that it was because we would scare up something for them to eat. I don't know if that's true, but the barracudas did not ever attack us. Two beautiful ladies at Fort Jefferson in the Dry Tortugas, standing in front of an awesome cannon and a lighthouse in the background. What a beautiful picture. Here's my wife Lynn photobombing my photograph of a big old cannon here at Fort Jefferson. I am amazed at the brickwork of the fort. There must have been a lot of skilled masons to come in here and do this archwork and circular stairways. The chapel. Let's go to the chapel. In the ceiling of the chapel room, you can find a master bricklayer's name and the date. He placed his name in several bricks within the fort. The architecture and brickwork is phenomenal. The color of our shirts was definitely the right choice based on the beautiful blue water in the background. The boats along the beach, we were told, were from refugees sailing from Cuba. I believe my next trip to Dry Tortugas Fort Jefferson will be by ferry from Key West, and I'll bring my snorkeling equipment and do some snorkeling around the fort like I did back in the 80s. They only allow so many people to camp. So do you guys remember when we were camping here on Dry Tortugas? We brought our tents and we camped out here on the tents. Some of us were camping on the island in tents. Others were staying in the Talisman. During the day, we would walk the fort and snorkel around the moat. I'm going to take a few moments and step back into the past with my memories and a few photographs that we have from our trips way back in the year 2001, 2002. My dad, my sons, my nephew, and my brother as we sailed the Talisman from Gulfport Bogosiega Bay to Dry Tortugas, Fort Jefferson. What a great memory. One day, while you're watching this video, you can hit pause and share your memory of this trip with your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, and your nephews. Definitely a wonderful memory. I remember the great fun we had sitting around the picnic table visiting. The dinners we had cooking on the grill, shrimp and fish, playing capture the flag at night, and just walking around the island during the day and snorkeling. What great times we had together. On our trip back to Key West, some of us rode on the Yankee Cat and others went back on the Talisman. Back to the year 2022, it is now time for us to leave Fort Jefferson in Dry Tortugas and fly back to Key West. Where do you want to sit?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll sit right here. It's all good. That's actually, you don't have too much leg room there, so enjoy that one.
Well, I'm sure. But have you seen the site?
Yeah, it's fine.
Alright guys, make sure you just buckle up. Get a seatbelt.
After takeoff, the pilot banked the plane a little bit to the left so that we could get one more view of Dry Tortugas, Fort Jefferson, and a few more photographs. Sharon took an excellent photograph of Fort Jefferson after takeoff. We were laughing and enjoying the view as we flew back from Dry Tortugas to Key West. As we approached Key West, the pilot made a slow turn to the right. We all got a beautiful view of Key West along the south end. As we made our final approach, we were able to get a nice aerial view of Fort Taylor, Key West Beach, and Fury, the glass-bottom boat. Those three adventures are part of the video titled 2022 Key West, Florida. That video and others are part of our YouTube channel titled Adventures of Charlie and Lynn. Thank you for watching YouTube channel Adventures of Charlie and Lynn 2022 Dry Tortugas Fort Jefferson by Seaplane.